Although mint is one of the easiest herbs to recognize by its amazing smell and flavor, it presents challenges because sometimes it's too easy to grow, and in hot climates, it doesn't grow well. In today's video, we're going to meet those challenges head on and tell you everything you need to know about growing mint successfully. I'm Angela from Growing in the Garden. My garden is in Mesa, Arizona. I want to help you succeed, even if you're gardening in tough conditions. First, a little bit about mint. It's a Mediterranean native that thrives in temperate regions. It's remarkably easy to grow and often spreads rapidly. It's considered an invasive perennial in many areas. Mint has an aggressive root system, and these roots will send out new shoots, horizontal runners, and rhizomes, root down and spread. Don't plant it in your garden beds unless you want it to pop up everywhere. But here in the low desert, it can be a challenge to grow because of our hot summers. Let's talk about how to grow it. Because the seeds cross-pollinate so easily, it doesn't start reliably from seed. It's best to look for transplants. When you're shopping for transplants, sample a leaf to see if you like the flavor and smell. In most areas, plant out in the spring after the danger of frost is past. Here in the low desert, there's also a second planting window in the fall. Plant mint in a partly shady spot with good, well-draining soil. Give it plenty of moisture and it will grow well. Remember, don't plant it in your garden bed. Mint will go dormant throughout the year depending on where you live. Cold climates, it'll be dormant during the winter months. Hot summer areas, it will go somewhat dormant and die back a bit during the hottest months of the year. When it's dormant, it might look pretty haggard, and that's okay. It's not actively growing, but that plant material is protecting the rest of the plant. As temperatures moderate, you'll see your mint come to life and you'll see new growth at the base of the plant. That is the time to cut it back. Cut it back just above that new growth, and you'll see a flush of new growth and a new beautiful plant. That's also the best time to add a nice thick layer of compost. Other than that, you don't have to feed mint throughout the year. Keeping it harvested throughout the season promotes lush, healthy growth. That way the plant doesn't get woody. Mint spreads and is invasive. The easiest way to combat that challenge is to plant it in a container. Choose a nice big container because mint grows quickly, and that way it has lots of room to grow large and you get to harvest lots of mint. I added an Oya to this container because it likes moisture, and that will help me keep it hydrated during the hottest months of the year. So although the mint is just right here, it will quickly spread and fill this whole container. I'm also going to add a nice thick layer of mulch that will help hold the moisture in and keep this mint plant happy. Another way to grow mint is to put it in the ground but with limited freedom. Get an old nursery pot and cut off the bottom. It should be at least 10 inches long. That will prevent the horizontal spread of those rhizomes. Put the nursery pot in the soil, and then you'll plant the mint inside. See how all of these roots are forming along the outside, and this plant is spreading even within this container. This plant is going to have plenty of soil inside that pot, and the roots can grow down through the bottom, but it prevents that spreading, that horizontal spreading of the rhizomes. And finally, another way to control mint is to plant it in an isolated location in your garden. This area of my garden gets limited water and no water in the pathways, so mint is not spreading into my beds. It's grown happily here for many years. I cut it back at the end of each summer and it thrives. What if you're growing mint in a container and it stops growing? It's probably because the roots have completely filled that container and it's ready to get potted up into a larger container. Choose a larger container or divide the plant into several plants and plant them in different containers so the roots have room to grow. What if your mint has scorched leaves? That means the location that it's growing in is too sunny. Move it to a shadier location and your mint will look better. Pests and diseases are more common in mint that has too much fertilizer. If you're fertilizing a lot, back off, and that will also help. What about the challenge of spindly growth or the mint not growing well? Believe it or not, this can also be caused by too much fertilizer. Another issue is not enough light. Evaluate how much light your mint receives and make sure that it's getting at least some direct sunlight. What about the challenge of growing mint in hot summer climates? There are a few things you can do. First, choose a shady location. Second, understand that mint will not look its best during the hottest months of the year, but you're going to have beautiful mint in the spring and the fall. And finally, choose more heat-tolerant varieties like spearmint. It's hardy up to USDA Zone 11. When your mint is growing well, don't forget to use it. The young tender leaves have the most flavor. Find ways to use it in the kitchen. Fresh leaves taste the best. Use them in salads, smoothies, or as a garnish. One of my favorite ways to use mint is to gather a cupful of mint, coarsely chop it or bruise it, and put it in a half gallon of water. Put that in the fridge and let it chill, and then strain out that water. It's delicious. I also love fresh watermelon with feta cheese and some fresh mint. It's so refreshing during the summer. What are your favorite ways to use mint, or what challenges have you faced growing mint? I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments.